Hello, everybody. This is Tom, and welcome to the course that I'm calling The Secret to English Grammar, because this shouldn't be a secret. What I'm really interested in doing is elucidating different ways that should make life easier in the classroom, that should make learning easier for students. Because there are certain frustrations that I've experienced in the past that I've worked with my team and I've worked with many other different teams to overcome. And the goal of this course is to make that available to more people and make it so that you have that reference whenever you need it, as well as some professional development along the way. So, how is this course structured? What are we doing? This is just a quick intro to give you an idea of exactly how I'm viewing this course and how I'm working through this course. So first, we're going to go over some general concepts of explanations. So how can you approach the classroom? How can you approach a particular topic in a way that is efficient when it comes to using your time and effective when it comes to working with students? There are many ineffective, inefficient ways that you may have tried in the past. I've tried them before. When it comes to finding a better solution, when it comes to finding a better explanation that will work with this student or that student, there are some core concepts and there's a theoretical basis upon which we will build our future discussions of English grammar, of how we can describe these structures, how we can describe their value and their use in the real world. So those initial concepts, there will be some video on that so that you understand how the explanations that we go over in the end will be useful and valid according to those concepts. Then we'll talk about specific topics. Now, specific topics, I'll be going over the topics that generally cause the most difficulties. The ones that generally cause the most difficulties, conditionals, perfect, that sort of thing that kind of scares teachers, scares students. Maybe there are some topics that you, as a learner of English yourself, potentially have trouble explaining, or maybe you feel less comfortable using yourself. Or if you can use it, let's say if you're a native speaker, or if you've been teaching for so long, or you know English so well that you feel it, you might not be able to explain it. So I'm trying to aim for those sorts of topics. We'll go over the topics. I'll explain the topic, and then we'll talk about building student ability with that topic. Now, over time, I would like to improve this course. Improve this course and grow it based on any sort of feedback. So any sort of questions that you may have about another topic that isn't included directly in this course, I'll extend the course. I'll do more. That's fine. Whatever topic there may be outside of this course that worries you, I'd like to know what that is. I would like to know what that is because I'm interested in understanding what difficulties teachers experience in their classroom contexts. That's what's interesting to me. And most likely, I've heard the question before and I have an answer, and I just haven't included it in the course yet. If I haven't heard the question before, that's my favorite thing because that gives me the opportunity to grow myself when it comes to analyzing, assessing, researching within the field of ESL. So we'll talk about particular topics that I understand are pretty consistently difficult for learners and for teachers. And we'll talk about building ability with those topics. And in the end, we'll talk about just practical application and general implications. So the practical application is all about flexibility. How you can use these explanations in your context, in your classroom. Because I may not know you personally right now. Maybe we'll get to know each other more and more in the future. But guess what? The more we work together, the more you work with different students in different places of different ages, the more variation you will experience. These explanations, this approach to teaching should be flexible. This is the idea of dynamic complexity. We're dealing with a lot of different variation within the classroom, and what we really need is the ability to flexibly adapt to the situation. And if that adaptation means we have to redo everything every single time, that's inefficient. That's stressful. And when it comes to the materials that are often used in classrooms, we'll talk about general implications beyond that practical application. Because what we'll find is a lot of what is out there right now has no practical application. And it's not your fault. This is something I'll talk about generally. When you speak English, you know English, and you have years of experience with English, if there is an explanation that you have trouble grasping, or that you need the examples to confirm some level of understanding, that's not your fault. That's the fault of the person who wrote the explanation. And the explanation needs to be better. The definition needs to be better. So that's just general implications. We can talk about it at the end. Again, I am very ready, very willing to expand this course based on feedback. We'll see how it goes. So, in general, what are the goals of the course? Number one, something that bothers me. When I hear a person with a lot of background in ESL say, you know what, sometimes it just takes time. It takes time to learn a language. Yes, it does take time. The goal is to take less time. Improvement in the classroom should do two things. Number one, it should increase the teacher's quality of life and take the teacher less time. And number two, it should improve the results of students and take the students less time to learn. It takes time. Okay, let's work to make it take less time. Because let's be real. You have a limited amount of time with students. You can only expect students to spend a limited amount of time on English outside of the classroom. Let's make sure we use that time well. That is the point of this course. That is the point of more effective definitions. We're not throwing up our hands and giving up. We're always looking for better. And I'll do whatever I need to do to get better. Let me know what you think. Now, another thing. I don't feel confident. If you as a teacher do not feel confident in using a certain topic or explaining a certain topic or working with higher levels, you should. And this course should help you with that. Then, if you don't know how to do something, right now, I'm going to cover the main points. I'm going to cover the main points, meaning the topics that I understand cause the most difficulties most of the time. I will cover those. The conceptual framework behind what we're discussing here should lead towards more confidence for you and more independence. I am happy to expand this course. I can't guarantee that it'll be on the Thursday night when you have an individual student at some level with a topic that you usually don't teach. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to turn around and put something together within those 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So what we're looking for beyond just prescriptive measures is a description of how to approach language learning in a way that leads to greater confidence from you, a greater ability to respond to questions even when you feel less prepared for those questions. So those are three different aspects that inform how I look at this course and how I have developed this course and how I will continue to develop this course. So, welcome. Glad to have you here, and let's get going.